Hey guys, this is Dustin. Had a lot of people ask me on Instagram and Facebook, I guess they're wanting to get into starting to play live and out places, and were asking me a bunch of questions about my equipment and gear and that sort of thing that I use, and what you need, what you don't need. And so I just wanted to make a quick video to kind of answer all the questions as best as I can at once, rather than having to write everybody individually. So I'm just going to go through pretty much what I take to take on a gig, and I do several different kinds of stuff. I do solo stuff. I do stuff where I'll play with a band as a fill-in. I do a lot of stuff for churches that's like that. I'll go in and just fill in for their guitarist if they're out or something like that. So this is kind of what I'm using, and it'll be a good basis to kind of start it. You don't have to use this exact stuff, and there might be some stuff that you use that I think would be cool. So if you do use something different and cool, let me know. And so yeah, we'll get started. First thing, if you're gonna start playing, you need to have a good case. It doesn't have to be a case like this, but I recommend a hard shell case, especially if you're gonna be traveling places, just because you can't tell what's gonna happen. The soft case is great. I use a gig bag and stuff when you go to festivals and you're hopping from stage to stage. But for traveling, anytime you have to be in a car or an airplane or something like that, stuff shifts and falls, and you don't want to take a chance of ruining your instrument in a soft case. So I always take my instruments in a hard case, and I take a soft shell case pretty much everywhere I go to hop from place to place. But so this case is by a company called SKB. And I've had it for a couple of years now. I actually have two of these. So both the guitars I travel with each go in one. And I haven't had any complaints with them. They have rollers on the back, so if you're rolling through an airport or whatever, it doesn't, you don't have to carry it. It's not killing your arms the whole time. And what's cool is these cases lock into one another, so you can actually stack three of these high without having to lash them together or anything like that. And they'll all roll as one unit, so that's a pretty cool feature. The other cool feature is the fact that you have a ton of storage. I can take pretty much everything I'm going to need for a gig inside the cases, so I'm not having to haul a whole bunch of extra stuff, make trips back to the bus or back to the car or stuff like that. So I can take everything in at once, which is super nice. So yeah, I guess we'll just start with the most important thing. This is actually new. I haven't actually played a show with this yet. I'll actually do that this coming week. I have a whole bunch of shows to play this week, but this is my new Santa Cruz, one of the first Tony Rice models from way back in 1989. So I was like 4, I guess, when this was made. Great guitar, Brazilian rosewood back and sides, Sitka spruce top. So I'm really digging playing this guy so far. So I'm excited to get to do some shows with it. Some of the stuff I have in here that I use for gigs, it's always good to take extra strings, because it's just always a good thing to have. Strings need to be changed more often than people do a lot of times. So these are the strings I use. They're the Martin Retros and the medium bluegrass. It's just the weight that I like. It feels good under my fingers. And these tend to last, I've noticed, a good bit longer than standard like phosphor bronze or 80/20, because they're a nickel alloy, so nickel doesn't tarnish and get as dirty as quickly as some of the other strings do. I haven't switched over yet, so right now I think when I got this from Dream Guitars, they put a set of, feels like elixirs or maybe some coated Diodarios or something on it. I haven't changed those out yet, but I will very soon, probably this afternoon. Another good thing that a lot of people don't think about, that if you're doing more than, say, playing at a club or something in town and you're going to be gone for a couple of days, it's really good to keep a humidity meter, a humidistat. They're really cheap, but they make sure that you're staying in that safety zone between 45 and 55% humidity where your guitar is comfortable. And also, the ones I get have the thermostat in them, so I make sure that if it's sitting in my car, it's not getting too hot, or if they're on stage or something like that in the case, it's still not, and sitting in the sun, it's not a good thing. So keep the a thermostat and humidistat handy. One cool thing about these cases that I forgot to mention is they're made out of styrofoam on the inside, just like you would a cooler. So it saves energy. It's a very energy efficient, I guess, case in the fact that it doesn't lose and the temperature inside doesn't change a lot, so it stays pretty constant in there. Just a rag to wipe your guitar down. I made this out of an old t-shirt or old dress shirt. This guitar doesn't have a pickup system in it, so I've mic'd guitars pretty much forever anyway. So this is my vocal mic. It is a Shure Beta 87C. It's just what I found fits my voice the best. So I mean, you have to experiment, find out what works for you, but this works for me. And then for micing the guitar, I use an AKG C535EB. It has a selector switch, so you can go with a flat EQ. You can drop the low end out and a flat EQ at negative 14 dB, and then a really, really slowly sloped negative 14 low end cut. So it's a good all-around microphone to use. I really like this mic. I've had it a long time, and I haven't found anything that sounds as good as this mic for a live situation. Take your cables. I think it's a Whirlwind, so it's nothing fancy, but it gets what I need just in case for some reason the venue I get to doesn't have the right, because some of the places, like I said, they play smaller churches, that sort of thing. Their stuff might not be up to par as far as reliability, and it might have a short in it. So I always take all my own cables as best I can to get the job done. I always take business cards because you never know who's going to be sitting in the audience that's liking what you're doing that might have another gig for you somewhere else. So always have some business cards. They're cheap to make. Actually, they're super cheap. So I should have done this a long time ago and didn't. I was just writing my name down on napkins and stuff. And some friends of mine's like, you really need to have some business cards. So they actually made some business cards for me, and I appreciate that. It's nice of them. But it's something that now I've realized that you actually do need in order to look like you know what you're doing. So my stuff's not scattered all over the place. I took like an overnight bag, like a toiletries bag, and put all my like little stuff in it so it's not scattered all over the place. So I got this is an old school match case I keep my picks in, and I use 1.5 Dunlop Prime Tones, and then I take them out to my shop and drill holes in them like the Widgeon picks, because I really like the way the Widgeon picks feel in my hand, but I really like the tone of the Prime Tones. So I take them out, drill some holes in them, and then ream them out so they're nice and smooth and comfortable to hold on to. String cutters and winders for changing strings. It's always good to have some band-aids, so you never know. I'm a songwriter, so I always keep some pens and a little notebook to write song ideas in, because you never know when one's going to hit you. This stuff is, I can't say enough good things about this stuff. It's Burnt Beast hand salve, and a problem I have is I have really dry skin. So like my thumbs and my index finger right here where I hold my pick crack a lot, and it's very uncomfortable. This stuff is super awesome. It's not greasy once it soaks in. And I've noticed that it's actually helped the calluses on my fingers last longer and keep from flaking off. So this stuff is just amazing. I don't go anywhere without this stuff. Just some more odds and ends. Some finger picks. I don't really use those, I guess. A square for CD sales, and a spare capo, just in case, and a few extra spare picks. It's kind of more of an emergency little kit than anything else in case I forget and leave something in a hotel room or something like that. Good tuner. This is the Peterson strobe tuner, little clip-on. It's called the Strobo Clip. It's a good little tuner. I don't use it very often. I just got this little guy here, which I've been super impressed with. It's a D'Addario sound hole tuner, and it just sits right here. It's out of the way. I never have to worry about taking it off the guitar. So I have a real bad problem with losing things. Oops, it came on. So that I don't end up losing, so that's great. And I like to be in tune. Here's another tuner. It's pretty much that one that just clips on the headstock up here. Actually, I don't even know if this guy works. Oh, it does work. That's good. And then if all else fails, a tuning fork. I prefer to do my first tuning with the tuning fork. I don't know why. It's just something I've always done. So this is an A tuning fork. So you tune your A string and tune all your other strings to that A string. Extra little ear, I don't know what they're called, ear cones or something for your monitors. And then this is the capo that I use. The guys at Dream Guitar sent me this nice little bag, and keep my capo in. This is the Shub F1 fine-tuned capo. By far the best capo I've ever used. It's super simple, super accurate. It doesn't bend because you're setting the tension. Just set it to where it's just gets the notes just to sound. It doesn't buzz. By far the best tuner best capo I've ever owned. I really love this capo. I have another one coming for my other guitar, so I have one for each of them. But love this capo. It's great. See, that's everything in here. Little case I keep my monitors in because some of the places that I play don't use wedges for monitors. You have to use in-ears, so I keep those in here. And then I have a really good Levy's leather strap. I've had this for years, and they last forever. That's about it for what's in the case, and that's pretty much all you need. I'll show you some other stuff that I use in a situation that you might not be able to mic, or it's not as easy to mic a guitar. I'll use this guitar over here. This is my, it's kind of a Frankenstein guitar. This is my Martin HD28V with a 1941 authentic neck on it. It came from the factory that way. That's the guy who built this guitar. That's how he wanted it, and then I ended up buying it from him. But in this guitar, it's a spruce top, Indian rosewood back and sides. But in this guitar, I have the LR Baggs Lyric pickup, and actually I have it in all my guitars, but this one. And it is a fantastic pickup. I've tried just about all the pickups there are, from Fishman to K&K, Sunrise, everything. And this is the most natural sounding pickup. And the reason it is the most natural sounding pickup is because it's not a pickup. It is a microphone that's mounted to the soundboard. But they've come out, I don't know how Lloyd does it, but he has this noise canceling chip or I don't know in here that makes it to where it doesn't sound boxy and hollow like a lot of times you mount a microphone and an acoustic guitar will sound. It doesn't do that. It's a very clear, crisp tone, just like you have a microphone sitting at the 12th fret. It's not quacky like you would if you had an undersaddle pickup. It's a great pickup and a great guitar. So this is my backup guitar for when this one goes down now, and this is my situation that I need to plug in rather than play to a mic. That's what this is used for. In addition to the Lyric, I run this little guy that Lloyd sent me for actually winning it was an Instagram competition, and I won, and I'm super glad that I did, because this thing is fantastic. If you don't have, I much prefer the sound of a microphone over anything else, but plugging this in and then adding the Session DI, which is what this is, in front of it, gives it so close to a microphone sound that it's really, really hard, especially in a live scenario, to tell the difference between an externally mic'd guitar and Lyric with the Session DI. Very, very hard to tell the difference. This thing is absolutely fantastic, and I probably would never do another show that I had to plug my guitar in without one of these. It's taken my guitar tone from what it was before, which was good with just the Lyric, to just sonic excellence. This is the best product, in my opinion, that LR Baggs has ever come out with. Very, very good piece of gear. Now, again, not something you have to have, but something that's super nice to have. So other than that, that's really the basic gear that I use. If you have any questions about it, let me know in the comments. Telephone's ringing, so we'll end this real quick. Any questions, let me know. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, send them to me. If you have any gear that you use that would be cool, let me know what it is. I'm always looking for new stuff. So, all right, you guys have a good day.